What should you be looking for in a video production company? It's a question I get asked all the time. People want to know what are the things they should be looking for when they hire a videographer or a video production company. And I know from experience that most people start with and end with a videographer or a company's reel. And while obviously looking at reels is very important and you want to know that your videographer has really strong visuals, that's only scratching the surface of the things you need to worry about. So today I'm going to be going over all the different things that you should be considering when you hire a videographer. Number one is editing. Obviously visuals are very important, but the picture is only one part of the visual. Another big part of that is how those pictures are edited together. And so while you may be able to get a good idea of a videographer's cinematic skill from their reel or from their previous work, really pay attention to the way they've edited things together. And is it at a professional level or not? Number two, motion graphics. Along with editing, having someone that can produce professional graphics that are very dynamic, that are colorful, eye-catching, that match your brand style, that's really important. And when you're dealing with maybe people that don't have as much experience, you'll find that one of two things: either they don't have any ability to do motion graphics, or they're just pulling from some of the most basic templates. And when you're looking at their previous work and it seems a little derivative, or it's like something that you've seen before, then that's probably what they've done. And in fact, I think it will be very difficult to find a really high-class videographer who's also really competent with motion graphics, because they're two completely different skill sets. And so unless you luck into one of those rare unicorns, as we'll say, what you really want to look for is a video production company or a videographer who either has a motion graphics design person on staff or has one that they work with frequently. And that's what I do. When I started my first video production company, one of my two partners, that was their specialty, was animation and motion graphics. And I still work with him on almost every job that I do to get the graphics just right. And so you definitely want to ask whoever you're thinking about hiring, who does your motion graphics, who does your graphic design. If it's them, are they really capable of doing it? And if it's not them, if they work with a graphic designer that does it for them, then ask to see their reel just for the graphics, especially if it's a job that you know you want to have high quality graphics for. Number three, professional lighting. Still sticking with the visuals, and when it comes to the visual look of video, lighting is so important. And if the videographer that you're working with doesn't have professional gear, it's going to show. And so whether they own the gear themselves or they rent the gear, either way, make sure that they have and know how to use professional lighting. Number four, audio quality. As important as the visuals are, audio is just as important, because it can look great. The video can be stellar in terms of visuals, but if the sound is no good, then the video is no good. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. And a lot of people would say that audio is the number one most important thing, that it's even more important than the visuals. I think that they're both important. You can't have one without the other. So make sure that you are working with a videographer or a production team that has professional audio quality. Number five is studio. Does the video production company or the videographer you're going to hire have their own studio? This doesn't apply to every job, obviously, but if you are going to be doing product work, product demos, really close-up photography, or you're going to want to be doing interviews in a studio setting, then having access to that studio is really important. Whereas for other jobs, it may be entirely on location and you don't need to worry about the studio. So if you are going to be needing a studio, make sure that the videographer you hire has access to one before you come to an agreement, because if not, then after you've already signed a contract, you may find that, oh, this doesn't include a studio and the things that you were imagining are going to cost more than you've just agreed to, and you're going to have to add something to the contract. So make sure to take care of that before any papers are signed. Number 6, drone. Along the same lines as the studio, drone is something you may not need, but if you do need it, make sure you ask about that before you hire someone. Are they a drone operator themselves? Does the production company have a drone operator? Or do they have someone they work with on a regular basis? And just looking at someone's reel may not be enough to know whether they have a drone or not, because they may be using stock footage, they may be using footage that came from a client, they may be using footage that came from a drone operator that was hired separately from them. So the only way you'll know for sure is to ask them up front, do you have a drone? Are you a licensed drone pilot? All those important things that if you need drone footage, and I highly recommend it, it's great for your video, then find that out beforehand. And finally, style. I know that for most companies and individuals that are hiring a videographer, the style is the first thing that they look at. They look at their reels, and is it a style that matches their brand? It's not the most important thing, because a high quality professional videographer will be able to shoot in many different styles. But it's not unimportant either. And so that's why it's last on my list. It is something that you should worry about, especially if your brand has a very distinct style and you have a very clear idea of what you want your video to look like. Then you can, when you're hiring a videographer, make sure that they have the style that fits what you're looking for, or they're capable of producing that kind of video. So I hope that helps in your quest to find a video production company. My name is Decatur Collins, and I am a videographer based here in Portland, Oregon. And if you're looking for high quality professional video, please reach out to me. You can email me, you can call me, and let's talk. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.